Well, hello and welcome to Shallow Proclamation. My name is Paul, and as always I'm joined by
Thomas.
And we're about to watch the final part of Planet of the Daleks, Planet of the Daleks Episode 6. Let's hope we finish with a strong one.
Yeah, it's been a very strong story, so I'm hoping it will go out with a bang.
Here we go. I think we might see their feet in this bit if you missed it in the last one.
Yes.
You are not Spartans! Emergency! 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 Do not move! Alarm! Alarm! I can't see! Vision impaired! Get him out! Come on! Pursue! Pursue!
Oh, wow.
The Daleks are pretty pacey in this, which I quite like. They move at a decent speed. Now, apparently, Terry Nation invented this Supreme Dalek, or Dalek Supreme, because he didn't like the Emperor Dalek.
Oh, okay.
He was very against it, apparently. So,
in
this is a
Evil
nice
of the
model
Daleks,
shot.
right?
Yeah. This is a nice model shot, isn't it?
This is gorgeous.
I love the pink jets.
Yeah, how have they done that? It's little sparklers or something.
Yeah, presumably.
That is awesome. So kind of such a simple design ship. Makes it look really ominous. 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 Oh, hello. Yeah. Oh, that's a good design, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is definitely up there as one of the brilliant designs of the classic era.
Yeah.
It's actually, I think, one of Terry Nation's Daleks that he had from home. I think it's a movie Dalek that's been upgraded. So you'll notice, if you notice the lamps on its head, they're the same as they use in the modern era.
Oh, cool.
So they're actually sort of based off of that kind of look and design.
Huh.
Lado, could you fly that thing?
With the help of the others, yes.
Well, then it can take you back to Skaro.
I thought of that.
But don't you see what that means? You thought that even if this mission was a successful one, that you'd be marooned here for the rest of your lives. With that, you've got a chance of getting home.
But the Daleks haven't been defeated yet. Not by a long way.
I know all that. But it gives you a chance. It gives you all something to hope for. I wish the others were here and then we could tell them about it.
I'm glad they're not.
But why? If they knew there was a way to escape...
Just knowing might mean the difference between success and failure. We all thought that whatever happened, there was no way out. It was a suicide mission. That's affected everything we've done. We faced dangers and taken risks because there was nothing to lose, Joe.
But you go on taking them.
I don't know. You see, I found a reason to be more careful. A reason for wanting to stay alive.
Come on, Martin. We've still got a long way to go.
It's really sort of interesting idea, isn't it, that the success of their mission will be jeopardised by the fact they know they might be able to get away.
Huh.
They're prepared to risk all if it feels like a suicide mission. Yeah, it's just some really nice ideas in here.
And some nice fake rock there. It does the job, doesn't it? Oh, nice. How have they done that? Bit of stop motion, maybe.
I was going to say, is it kind of stop motion-esque type thing?
Well, it looked almost like they had magnets underneath them.
Yeah, sort of like jerkiness to it.
Just sort of jiggling it, yeah. I'm impressed they attempted that, because there's a lot of Daleks. Pretty tense, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Indiana Jones in the pit full of snakes.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite a nice idea, having them waking up, but obviously not being active enough yet to do anything and be a threat.
Yeah. you know that somehow one is going to survive. That's just the Doctor Who way. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Such a good visual there, isn't it? I think the Daleks flooded in the eye. I mean, look at that.
It looks
That's
stunning.
brilliant.
And those kind of... It made them look life-size, didn't it? Almost.
Doctor, we'd never have succeeded without all your help. I wish there was some way of thanking you.
As a matter of fact, there is.
Yes, Doctor?
Throughout history, you Thals have always been known as one of the most peace-loving peoples in the galaxy.
I hope we always will be.
Yes, well, that's what I mean. When you get back to Skaro, you'll all be national heroes. Everybody will want to hear about your adventures.
Of course.
So be careful how you tell that story, will you? Don't glamorize it. Don't make war sound like an exciting and thrilling game.
I understand.
Tell them about the members of your mission that will not be returning. Like Maro, Weber, and Marat. Tell them about the fear. Otherwise, your people might relish the idea of war. We don't want that.
You can depend on us.
Thank you, my dear. Well, you better get aboard, I think.
That's a nice little exchange, isn't it?
I'm not sure about them. Goodbye, Rebecca.
Don't glamorise it.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Of course, you know,
Taran?
were this filmed, let's say,
Good luck.
50 years later. Yeah. You see, fam, you mustn't glamorise war. It's terrible. Fighting. You've got to stop it. You can't do it. You've got to tell the children, don't fight each other.
I'm sorry, Marta. I'm very sorry, but you see, I've got my own world and my own life to go back to.
I'm just thinking, for any children watching, they might get the idea that war is actually quite a good thing. We wouldn't want them thinking that.
Thank you, lad.
So I'm going to speak directly to the camera now, and I'm just going to remind you, watching at home, that war is actually bad. Oh, nice. It looks like, what's that sweet chocolate that's shaped like that? Is it a
Yeah,
Revel?
like a... no, not a Revel.
There we go.
There we go. Apologies to anyone watching in real time who's experienced a slight skip there.
Yes.
Momentarily ran out of space.
Momentarily.
There's only one little world I want to see right now. That one.
That one? But Joe, that's Earth.
That's right, Doctor. Home.
Home it is, Miss Grant.
Nice. Great final line. Home it is, Miss Grant.
Yeah, it is a nice little ending, isn't it? And again, just I know we've said it so many times during this story, but like the relationship between the Doctor and Joe is just so nicely put together now, isn't it? The way it's the way they are with each other is just really lovely. There's a real closeness there, a nice chemistry between them that's really grown up, hasn't it? I think so. That's good. Yeah, what do you make of that final episode then?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I think it managed to raise the stakes nicely for that final kind of showdown, and it was really kind of cathartic to watch, wasn't it? All the icy water sloshing in and drowning the Daleks. And it conveyed the scale. I was struck by, as I was watching it, I wasn't going, oh, this really does just look like a model. It felt, the scale of it felt big.
Yeah.
And that ship and the kind of, was it called the Supreme Dalek or the?
Yeah, the Dalek
Yeah,
Supreme.
Dalek Supreme. Yeah, looked brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, a really enjoyable story actually. And yeah, I found it to be, quite simple in some ways, but that doesn't mean it's easy to pull something like it off. I mean simple in the sense of it wasn't. Yeah, it was quite a simple storyline to follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was kind of refreshing in some ways. Like it wasn't trying to be too mind-bending or anything. It's like, yeah, it's pretty clear who the bad guys are. You need to escape them and stop this plan that they have to launch the bacteria and stuff. But to pull that off, and all the kind of tense set pieces, it was very ambitious, and it pulled it off, I think. So happy days. What about you?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good finish, and echo most of the things you said there. Really, that I think that the Supreme Dalek, the Dalek Supreme, there is such a great design. And I think it's this show. Since Day of the Daleks as well, we had the sort of the gold Dalek in that, didn't we? That was just, or also at the end of Frontier in Space, there was the gold Dalek, wasn't there? But it doesn't quite look as good as this one. It's a slightly different design again. And I really like how they're leaning into just a little bit to this idea of a command structure within the Daleks, and different colours and schemes meaning different things a little bit. It'd be nice to see more of that in the modern era, really. But it's such a great design, that gold and black Dalek, and because it's not just because it's a different colour, because obviously the one we saw in Frontier in Space and Day of the Daleks is just the same chassis entirely, just spray painted a sort of goldy. It's not even really proper gold though, is it? That one is more like butterscotch or something. I don't know, like butterscotch Dalek. Whereas this is a proper black and gold, and it's a different body because it's based off a movie Dalek from the 60s, so it gives it a different look again, and it's interesting to see how that has then gone on and inspired the modern era's Dalek. So, I think there's a lot in there, really nice. But I think, like I said about this story, I can't remember if I said at the end of the last episode that I was surprised how well it's, how well it's stood up, actually, given that I thought perhaps it had maybe got a slightly bad reputation. There's some really nice bits in it, isn't there? Like the characters are great, the Thals, and the conversations they have between sort of Lartep and talking to Joe and saying, if they know it's a suicide mission, they're more likely to succeed. So the hope of actually escape makes them less likely to fulfill their plan and take less risks and stuff like that. And there was a similar thing in one of the previous episodes, didn't really comment on it, but where Taran had said to Rebek, like, now you're here, everything I do will be clouded because I love you. And then at the end, the Doctor's saying, like, when you go back and tell them the stories, don't glamorise war, tell them about the fear, tell them about sort of Weber and Myra and those who didn't come back and stuff like that. And there's just lots of really nice bits of dialogue and stuff in there, which is more than, when if one of the criticisms of this story is this is just a rehash of the Daleks, I don't think the Daleks has anywhere near as deep discussions like that at all. So I think that makes it really, really quite a strong story.
Yeah, it gives it, as you say, a kind of emotional depth, doesn't it? And there are layers there that, if you were watching it as a child, I think you'd be able to enjoy this story very much. But then as an adult, there are it maybe speaks to you in a different way. It's kind of got layers, like an ogre.
Like an ogre. Yeah, because I must have seen this story loads and loads of times, because I had it, like I said, I had it as a kid, like recorded off the telly, so I don't know how many times I've seen it. But I never as a child was struck by any of those ideas of like, I did remember the Doctor saying not to glamorise war, but I had never been struck by the idea of knowing that you could escape would impact whether you would succeed in the first place, and stuff like that. And so there's some really thoughtful ideas in there, which I think maybe Terry Nation sometimes isn't given credit for, as people just see Terry Nation. I think because maybe Terry Nation, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think sometimes, in my head at least, he's viewed sometimes as being like, he just turns up to do another Dalek story and he kind of phones it in, like gets his paycheck and goes home again. Right. But I think that would be to do a disservice to this story to just like say that's what he's done and that it is just a rehash. Obviously it has an element of homage to the first Dalek story, but there's a lot more to it, I think.
Completely agree. Yeah, there's actually quite a lot going on in this story, as you say, isn't there?
Yeah, the character like the characters. I don't think you have that amount of character development between the Thals and the companions and the Doctor in the original Dalek story at all. You don't. I couldn't tell you the name of really any of the Thals from the original story and bits like that.
No, controversial take. I mean, the first Dalek story is good, but I wouldn't say it's a great Doctor Who story.
Right. I
mean, it's obviously classic, and because it was the first Dalek story. And,
of course.
It would be foolish to hate on it, which is definitely what I wouldn't do. But I suppose in terms of all the Dalek stories we've seen so far, I'd probably actually rank the first one quite low down, weirdly. They've all been quite strong, but that, for me, that did drag quite a lot, the long periods in the cave. Wasn't one episode called The Ordeal or something?
Yeah, yes, it was.
Whereas this, I really, and maybe it's technology has come on and what they could achieve has come on a lot, but the cave stuff was some of the most thrilling, ventilation shaft, cooling shaft stuff, some of the most thrilling parts of this story. So maybe there was a slight sense of Terry Nation thinking these ideas can now be better executed than they were when I first wrote them. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so. But I think, as a story, it's got all those, the really nice bits of dialogue, really good characters. I think they're all pretty distinctive, which is great. So they're all quite memorable as characters. Doctor and Joe are on fine form. The Daleks look great and are on fine form. Obviously, the Supreme Dalek's brilliant. You've got this wonderful sort of jungle setting. You've got the icy, the ice volcano, and you've got the sort of location stuff on the Plain of Stones that just makes it, just gives it. It's a great production all round, I think. So it's for me. Yeah, I mean, it probably I think I would have seen it as a bit of a guilty pleasure, but I'm not sure I feel guilty about it anymore.
No, it's definitely not chase category, is it?
Yeah, it's
because
just
the chase is a guilty pleasure, but I still love it.
It's just a pleasure. It's just a pleasure. Is what it is. I think at the end there, I mean, it's quite nice as well to have a story that doesn't end with the Daleks' complete defeat. Them to say sort of we're just delayed, not defeated. This idea that they keep going on, and I think there's actually a Colin Baker audio story, like a Big Finish one, which actually goes back to Spyridon. I'm not sure if it is Colin. I think it's Colin Baker. I'm not sure. I've not heard it, but so they do, kind of pick that up somewhere else, not in the classic era, but as part of the audios later on. So that's quite a neat touch. And I think Spyridon gets a mention in Asylum of the Daleks. When when the Doctor goes to that place where there's all the Daleks that are slightly damaged and stuff, and it's like this one is from. I think they mention like Iridius, like from The Chase, and they mention, is it Kemble from Power of the Daleks, and so so lots of these old Dalek stories get a quick reference, Spyridon and stuff.
Kemble mint cake.
Kemble is not Kemble mint cake. Kemble wasn't Power of the Daleks, was it? I think it was it Dalek Master Plan?
Oh,
Vulcan. Vulcan was Power of the Daleks. I'm not sure if that does get a mention in there, but before I get jumped on in the comment section by someone going, I think you'll find that Kemble was actually Dalek Master Plan and not Power of the Daleks. Call yourself a fan.
How dare you? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Well, no, happy days. And let us know, people, what you think of this story. And pop any questions for the Season 10 review. We've got a thread in our Discord for that as well, which is a good place to post questions. And do check out our Patreon if you want to get the full commentary track. But yeah, thank you for watching.
Yeah. Bye-bye.